Alright, yo, what up? So, we're gonna learn a basic guide for Arctorius. He's pretty easy, so let's get started. So, light punch, it requires a lot of bolt cancel, so be careful with this. However, when holding the stance button, you could probably switch stance from light punch to pretty much from 1 through 4. You get the idea. Next is gonna be the heavy punch. Heavy punch does a lot of stuns, and it also switched to the stance, but which I recommend not to, so you gotta be careful. And no bow cancel required, so it's pretty safe. Same thing with the light kick. It goes special cancel, EX cancel, works the same thing on block. Crazy, right? And last but not least, heavy kick. Heavy kick is pretty fast. It doesn't require bolt cancel, so you can pretty much special cancel, EX cancel, pretty much do everything on block. Now let's focus on the down punches. Down light punch sucks so bad. Don't recommend it. It has bad recovery. But it's pretty fast though. It's fast but bad recovery. Next is the heavy. It's pretty quick and it takes you to stance 3. And for this one right here, this one requires bolt cancel. And for the down heavy kick, it's pretty long. It can catch the opponent from a far distance. Yeah, that's about it. Alright, next we're going to focus on the command moves. So, back light punch. This is the only one that helps you do a special charge move, which we're going to get to that later on. And next is going to be the forward light kick. Now the forward light kick helps you to switch positions, like that one from 1 through 4. You get the idea. Next is we're gonna focus on the back heavy punch. Back heavy punch is a parry. This one helps you if the opponent's gonna start hitting the mid or low. And then the next one, if your opponent's gonna jump, back heavy kick is a good anti-air, and it's also a parry. So use those as your advantage. However, you could trick your opponent by just tapping it one time instead of holding it. So, yeah, that's about it. Alright, we're going to focus on the jumps. So, jump like kick is a good anti-air, and it hits the opponent standing. And jump neutral jump heavy punch, it's an anti-air, and it hits the opponent standing. Jump back or jump forward like kick is an anti-air, and it hits the opponent standing. That's the neutral jump like kick. And then, jump heavy kick. It's an anti-air, and it's good at hitting the opponent standing. The only move that actually hit the opponent crouching is heavy kick. I mean heavy punch. Jump back heavy punch, jump forward heavy punch. Everything else sucks, dude. Look. You see what I mean. So use heavy punch. And don't even bother neutral jumping to hit your opponent if he's gonna wake up. You're gonna get super punished, and it's gonna be all your fault. That's it. Alright, next we're gonna focus on the running attacks. Running light punch is a parry. It's one of the few moves that can both parry projectiles and melee. And whenever you do it, you teleport behind your opponent, so you can pretty much punish them, or not, depends. However, if you parry, if you don't parry, you don't do nothing. He goes to stance 1, and you get super punished by it. But you can prevent that by interrupting it by moving around. Next is going to be running heavy punch. It's an overhead. And it could be a reset, depends how you use it. Running light kick is a low, hits the opponent twice. And on block or on hit, if the opponent try to push a button, he gets super punished by it. And last but not least is running kick, heavy kick. It's an anti-air, and it takes you to stance 4. Don't underestimate the distance. See what I mean? Make sure you're close enough to actually hit them. And that's about it. Alright, we're gonna learn about the stance. The stance is pretty easy, so let's get started. Stance 1, down light punch. Now, light punch is going to be a snipe, and it takes you to stance 3. And it can also combo, but it depends, you know. I recommend you doing it on counter attacks. Next is going to be heavy punch, which is an overhead. That's about it, and it takes you back to normal. And then light kick, it's a parry. And no, you cannot counter your attacks to the opponent for do some punishments. You still have to block while you're still doing it. If you manage to do parry, you still gotta block or find a move to get them off of you. And then last but not least, heavy kick. This one is the only one that does not require bold cancel on hits. On block, yes, you do. And it's also one of the few that can actually cancel to super. So it's gonna be hella fun. Now let's focus on the stance 2, down down heavy punch. Now light punch is an anti-air. If the opponent try to jump, you get him. Heavy punch is a low, and it takes you to stance 4, and you could combo afterwards with it. And then last but not least, heavy kick. Heavy kick is an overhead, and it could combo afterwards. Oh, and X, I forgot to mention. It could go through projectiles and melee sometimes. You just gotta time it, you know? And it makes you go forward. So that's about it. Next, we're gonna focus on stance 3, down down light kick. Now, you could dash forward by pressing X or light kick. Square is a double tap. Light punch. Don't use this move only in emergencies. This move reduces your damage dramatically, so don't do it at all. And the heavy punch version, it's a mid attack. It's not a low, and it could hit the opponent on the ground. Depends from far distance. And then heavy kick. It's an anti-air. Use it whenever opponents try to jump. If the opponent gets hit by it, just, you know, use that afterwards. And finally, stance 4. Ah, man, sure takes a while. So we're gonna light kick is a parry. Light punch is a push, and it knocks the opponent down. Heavy punch is a anti-air sometimes, and it can also hit the opponent on the ground. And this is the only stance attack that can actually special cancel, EX cancel, and it works the same thing on block. So have fun with that. Not yet. And then last but not least, heavy kick. Heavy kick can send your opponent flying, and it takes you to stance 1. And that's about it. Alright, so let's get to the specials, which I was talking about earlier. Anyways, doesn't matter. So down forward, light punch. It's a good poking distance. It's safe on block. Depends on if you're far away from the opponent. You could combo, so you guys get the idea. The down forward heavy version is an anti-air. So if the opponent tries to jump forward, you catch him like that. Make sure you gotta be real close if you want to hit the standing opponents. You could combo stuff like this. So you get the idea. Next is down forward light kick. This one is like if you manage to hit the opponent, you're gonna do a lot of damage. And you could hit the opponent on the ground. And the heavy version is a strong one. That's down for a heavy kick. And the other move I never mentioned right now is the charging attack move. So if you press a button like light punch is a close range, so once you let it go for 5 seconds, bam. The light kick version, like right here, you have to count actual 5 seconds, by the way. So it's hella annoying. This is the heavy version. Oh, that was actually far. And then last but not least, the heavy kick version. And that's about it. However, you could enhance these attacks if you properly parry your moves or absorb projectiles. Let's see. There it is. So right now I'm at level 3 beast mode. I don't know. I don't know what's the actual move, but we're gonna call it beast mode. All right. So now the level 1 projectiles are so enhanced that instead of hitting it 1 time, it hits the opponent 4 times. Look. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now you're on level 2 beast mode. Level 2 beast mode, same thing. You do more damage, and your projectiles could do 3 attacks. And then level 1 beast mode, you still have that blue flame around you. You can only hit the opponent twice on the projectiles. And yes, you could combo afterwards during the attacks, and you do a hell of damage. And you could do some like setups and stuff like that. The only thing I haven't mentioned yet, let me see. Come on, guys. Alright. So during your beast mode, your grabs, your back forward grab becomes strong. See what I mean? And that's it. Anyways, that's pretty much all the specials. So we're gonna get to the EX real quick. Alright, so let's get to the EX real quick. So down 4 EX is a snipe. It can catch the opponent from a far distance. Check this out. And it could go through projectiles here and there. You could combo afterwards, so you could do some crazy setups. And down back EX kind of sucks. However, it absorbs and parry melee attacks. So it could absorb and parry melee attacks. And it takes you to level 2 beast mode right away. Come on, little guy. He sure takes a while. There it is. Oh, and you could combo afterwards by doing a running attack. That's all you could do. So yeah, that's pretty much your down back EX. And last but not least, if you hold the R2 button or the EX button for like actual 3 seconds or 5 seconds, depends how one person counts. You let it go, whoops, you get 2 projectiles absorbing around you. That's it. You can have as much as you can. Sadly, you can only get like 2. And it's not worth it. Yeah, this EX is not worth it. But the rest of the EX are worth it to use. Next, we're going to focus on the super. Down 4 punch. Could send to your opponent. Could send up pretty much his dead army of horsemen. And if the opponent is blocking on it, you could try to like do some mix-ups or try to get them, like, you know, you could do an overhead, a low kick, or anything you could do to, you know, catch the opponent off guard during that. Or if you let the opponent block it, it's another way to get your blessed mode. Next is going to be down back punch. You got to be real close to your opponent, and you could combo like stuff like this. Pretty cool. Percival, Bedivere, Mordred, Lancelot, Gawain, Galahad. The fate of the righteous is to fall to their knees. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Alright, so let's try to do some combos. This guy got a lot of options to do combos. My favorite one is like if you summon a projectile, counting, you know, you could do stuff like this. And then you could do a mix-up. Well, it depends how you use it, you know? So, you know, you could do it like this. You could do a low. Like, you got plenty of options to do some crazy setups for this guy. Again, don't use this move right here. Your damage gets reduced dramatically if you use the stance 3 light punch. I mean, it's cool to look at, but it's not worth it. I forgot to mention this could be special cancel to super, but it sucks. Like, don't ever do this. Don't ever use it for supers and other stuff. Or you can use one of your bold cancels. I mean, your bold cancels to do some stuff like this. You guys get the idea. Let's see, what else can I do? What else can I do? You could probably do that back lump light punch and then grab your opponent. Silly, right? That's only I only recommend you doing it if you're like level 3 beast mode. Everything else don't bother. Don't bother at all. Or the one I did earlier. You could combo or EX cancel on this one, but the time is kind of dumb. But for some reason you do a lot of damage like that. Although it doesn't feel like it, you know, it works. It just works, you know. Let's see if we can do some blessing moves. I'll try my best to actually complete one. There's some blessing moves you could do. They're pretty simple. Let's try this one. Pretend you're playing Marvel vs. Capcom. That's it. And then, yeah, I messed up. So whatever you do after this one, you go to stance 1, then press 4 or light punch. EX cancel and then super.
The fate of the righteous is to fall to their knees.
Alright, this is your retreat. If you hold EX and press back.
Not yet.
I recommend you doing this close up to your opponent. It doesn't matter how far you at. Use it, just abuse it. Abuse it so much. And if you manage to get this to, like, if you manage to get your opponent corner in the wall, in the corner wall or something, just spam this, all right? You get your sigil meter up real quick, and then you can do whatever you want. Trust me, dude. This is broken. Why is it broken, you ask me? Now, let's say your opponent is blocking, right?
Fate calls.
The second hit is unblockable. And that thing is one of your parry move of the EX. So you could pretty much spam this, but keep in mind your opponent can interrupt you with this, so use it wisely. However, the bold counter, it's a good way to... The bold counter absorbs one attack. So if your opponent doesn't have an attack that does 2 hits, he's pretty screwed. And if you don't want to do this type of move from a far distance, there is another option, which is the overhead. It's not guaranteed, but if you want to do it to your opponent, you can do it like this. You can do it as much as you can. Depends on which opponents you're dealing with. Now, a second option I never mentioned to use your blessing is this one.
You're the boss.
Again, it doesn't do a lot of damage, and you could cancel it to super. Again, doing stance 3 light punch reduce damage dramatically. You only use it if you want to do some cool, like, it looks cool to look at and stuff like that. And yeah, that's pretty much it, man. I don't know what else I could show you. I could show you like the jump attacks.
Not yet.
Yeah, there's plenty of options you could do.
Not yet.
Ah, the timing's off on this one. But yeah, you guys get the idea.
Not yet.
The highest damage you could do is probably like this one. The down for a punch.
Not
734. That's the highest damage you could do. What else I'm thinking? Oh, resets. I think I already told you this. Overhead, running overhead, reset, or this one right here. That one could be a reset, and you can also use your super to add more pressure to your opponent. So if the opponent try to push a button or jump over or try to attack you during that situation, yeah, he's gonna get super punished. The last thing I never mentioned, your level 1 super can be interrupted if the opponent hits you. So use it wisely. Other than that, that's pretty much it for the video. See you guys next time, and take care.